Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now, on to the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail! Hail! The rumour mill in Glasgow has been whirring at full tilt. And if the whispers are to be believed, Celtic have quietly sealed an agreement with ENIS BARDHI to bolster their midfield. Now, I ken the headline says official, but in football, especially at a club like Celtic, official can still feel like a carefully staged drama. Fans are already picturing Bardi in the green and white hoops, sliding into that midfield like he's been there all along. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The true story is often hidden behind the polished statement and the well-timed photo op. What's more interesting is what this move suggests about the direction the club is taking. Celtic have been seeking a creative spark, someone who can unlock packed defences and add a touch of unpredictability to their build-up. Bardi's name has floated around for months, and now suddenly it feels like the final pieces of a puzzle have been snapped into place. The question isn't just whether he'll arrive, but what kind of midfield he's going to fit into and how the manager plans to use him. In a league where possession is often king, Celtic have been searching for that player who can turn the ball into a weapon rather than a comfort blanket. Bardi is known for his set-piece prowess and his ability to strike from distance, which is a trait Celtic have been lacking in recent seasons. The team has been blessed with talent, no doubt, but there's been a sense that they need someone who can change a game with a single moment of brilliance, the kind of player who can sit just outside the box and make defenders nervous. If the rumours hold true, Bardi could be that spark. Yet the bigger picture is the club's strategy. Are they building around a long-term plan, or is this another short-term fix to keep the fans dreaming? Celtic's recruitment has always been about finding the right mix of experience and hunger, and Bardi's profile suggests he could bring both. He's not a young prospect anymore, but he still has the energy and the football brain to make an impact in a demanding league. Now, let's talk about the atmosphere this signing would create. Celtic supporters love a bit of flair, and Bardi is the sort of player who can excite even the most hardened cynic. You can already hear the chants in the stadium, the banter on social media, and the inevitable comparisons to past midfield maestros. But with excitement comes expectation, and Celtic fans are not shy about demanding success. If Bardhi arrives and fails to deliver instantly, the narrative could shift quickly. Football is a ruthless business, and the mood can change from celebration to criticism in the space of a single poor performance. That's why the timing of this move is so crucial. It suggests the club is trying to get ahead of the curve, to bring in the missing piece before the season's momentum slips away. The manager must be under pressure to deliver results, and this kind of signing is often a statement of intent. It says, we're not just here to compete, we're here to dominate. Of course, there are always questions about how a player will adapt to Scottish football. The Premiership is not gentle. It's physical, fast, and often unpredictable. Bardi has experience, but the intensity of this league is a different beast. Some players thrive on it. Others struggle to adjust to the constant pressure and the relentless tempo. Celtic fans will be hoping Bardi can handle the physicality while still bringing his technical strengths to the fore. The key will be his ability to read the game, to make smart decisions under pressure, and to avoid getting drawn into the chaos that can sometimes define Scottish matches. If he can do that, he could become a vital asset. But if he gets caught up in the frantic pace and loses his composure, the move could be seen as a gamble that didn't pay off. That's the nature of football rumors. They're always built on hope and potential, not certainty. And in a club as passionate as Celtic, hope is a powerful currency. Another layer to this story is the impact on the current squad. Celtic have midfielders who are talented, but the addition of Bardhi could shift the balance and force changes in the lineup. Some players may find themselves pushed out of the starting 11, and that can create tension. Footballers are competitive by nature, and they don't like being told their place is under threat. But competition can also be healthy. It can push players to improve and raise the overall standard. The manager will need to manage egos and keep the dressing room united. If Bardhi's arrival is handled well, it could galvanize the squad and create a more dynamic midfield. If not, it could lead to unrest and a drop in morale. Celtic have a proud tradition of strong team spirit, and the manager will be keen to maintain that. So this signing, whether official or just a rumor, carries more weight than just a new face in the squad. It could define the mood and direction of the team for the coming months. Finally, let's not forget the psychological aspect of this kind of transfer. Celtic are not just signing a player, they're sending a message to their rivals. In Scottish football, perception matters. If Celtic can bring in a player like Bardhi, it suggests they're still the club that can attract quality and ambition. It signals confidence and a desire to stay at the top. Rivals will take notice, and the pressure on them will increase. At the same time, it puts pressure on Celtic to deliver, because a signing like this raises expectations. Fans will want to see immediate impact, and the media will scrutinize every touch. That's why these rumors are so intoxicating. They're not just about football, they're about identity, ambition, and the constant battle for supremacy. Whether Bardhi truly arrives or not, the fact that his name is linked to Celtic already tells you something. The club is not content to sit back. They're looking to make a statement, and if this deal goes through, it could be one of the loudest statements of the season. Now, if we treat this as a rumor rather than a confirmed truth, the next question becomes, what does Bardhi want from this move? Players don't just join clubs, they join projects. They join stories. Bardhi has the chance to become a central figure in a team that has a history of big ambitions, but he will also be aware of the scrutiny that comes with the Celtic shirt. It's not a quiet job. Every performance is watched, every mistake magnified. That can either bring out the best in a player or expose their weaknesses. Bardhi's character will be crucial. Does he have the mental strength to handle the pressure? Can he thrive in an environment where the fans expect excellence every week? The rumors suggest he does, but the only way to know for sure is to see him in action. And that's the beauty of football speculation. It makes you dream, but it also makes you wait. Celtic supporters are used to waiting for moments of magic, and Bardhi could provide just that. But the story is still unfolding, and the next chapters are yet to be written. What's also interesting is the tactical implications. Celtic's style has often relied on quick transitions and fluid attacking movement. Adding Bardhi could shift the balance towards a more controlled, possession-based approach, especially if he's deployed as a central playmaker. That would change the team's rhythm and possibly open up new avenues in attack. Defenses would need to adapt, and opponents would have to respect the threat of long-range shots and set-piece deliveries. Bardhi's presence could also allow other players to play with more freedom, knowing there's someone capable of unlocking a tight defense. But tactical changes always come with risks. If the team loses its tempo or becomes too predictable, it could struggle against teams that sit deep and absorb pressure. Celtic will need to find the right balance between creativity and intensity, and that balance often comes down to the manager's vision. If the manager believes Bardi is the missing piece, then this rumor could signal a shift in the club's philosophy, not just its personnel. The financial side of the story is also worth considering. Celtic have to be smart with their spending, especially in a market where prices can be inflated and risks are high. Bringing in a player like Bardi suggests the club is willing to invest in quality, but also that they believe they can get value. The deal could be structured in a way that mitigates risk with performance-based clauses or a loan-to-buy option. That's common in modern football, and it allows clubs to test a player before committing fully. If Bardi performs, the club can make the move permanent. If not, they can cut their losses. It's a pragmatic approach, and it speaks to the reality of the transfer market. Celtic have to balance ambition with sustainability, and this rumor fits that narrative. It's a calculated gamble, and football is full of those. Sometimes they pay off brilliantly. Other times they become cautionary tales. Only time will tell which category this will fall into. From a fan's perspective, this kind of rumor creates a buzz that can lift the whole club. The anticipation of a new signing can energize supporters, and that energy can translate into performances on the pitch. Celtic's home ground is a fortress, and the fans play a huge role in that. Bringing in a player like Bardi could add to the excitement and renew belief. But it also raises the stakes. If the team doesn't improve, the disappointment can be even greater. Fans invest emotionally in these stories, and they expect the club to deliver. That's why the club must manage expectations carefully. They need to communicate clearly and ensure the supporters feel included in the journey. Rumors are fun, but they can also create pressure. Celtic will need to keep the focus on the team's long-term goals rather than getting swept up in the hype. The best clubs are those that can manage both the excitement and the reality, and Celtic have a history of doing just that. There's also the international angle to consider. Bardi's presence in the squad could attract attention from outside Scotland, and that could help Celtic in the transfer market. Players often want to join clubs where they feel they can grow and be seen. Celtic have a reputation for being a stepping stone to bigger leagues, but also a place where players can achieve real success. If Bardi performs well, it could encourage other talented players to consider Celtic as a destination. That's the kind of ripple effect that can change a club's trajectory. Recruitment becomes easier when the club is seen as a place where players can thrive. But it also means the club must deliver on the promise. If Bardi struggles, it could have the opposite effect, and the club could be seen as a risky move. That's why this rumor, whether true or not, matters beyond just one player. It speaks to Celtic's ambition and their ability to attract talent. Lastly, we have to consider the narrative that will follow this rumor. Football is a story, and fans love a good plot twist. Bardi's arrival would be a headline that dominates discussions, and it would shape the season's storyline. Will he be the missing link that drives Celtic to new heights, or will he be a footnote in a season of bigger challenges? The rumor itself is already part of the story, and it will continue to grow as more details emerge. The speculation will intensify, and the fans will debate endlessly. That's the beauty of football. It's never just about what happens on the pitch. It's about the emotions, the dreams, and the endless what-ifs. And right now, the what-if of ENIS BARDHI at Celtic is one of the most tantalizing possibilities in Scottish football. Whether it becomes reality or remains a whisper in the wind, it has already captured the imagination of the supporters. Now, if we're talking about the bigger picture, the Bardhi rumor feels like more than just a single signing. It's a signal, a subtle shift in how Celtic are trying to build their squad. The club has always been ambitious, but lately it's been clear they're looking for a more refined identity. A team that doesn't just win, but wins with a style that feels modern and sharp. Bardhi fits that kind of mold because he isn't just a physical presence or a workhorse. He's a footballer who sees the game differently, someone who can spot a pass that others might miss, and who has the confidence to take risks. Celtic have always needed players like that, but they also need them to be consistent. The rumours suggest the club are betting on Bardhi's ability to deliver that kind of creativity on a regular basis, not just in flashes. If that turns out to be true, it could change how Celtic approach games, especially against teams that like to sit deep and frustrate them. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. And speaking of frustration, the thing about Scottish football is that it rarely allows a team to play a relaxed, patient game. The tempo is relentless and the pressure is constant. That's why a player like Bardhi could be such a fascinating addition. He has the technical skill to keep the ball moving under pressure, but he also needs to be mentally strong enough to handle the chaos that comes with every match. The rumours are painting him as a calm presence, someone who can bring a bit of control to the midfield. But there's always the risk that the physical nature of the league could disrupt his rhythm. Some players adapt quickly, while others struggle to adjust to the constant intensity. The fans will be watching closely to see how he handles the pace and whether he can maintain his composure when the crowd gets loud and the tackles come flying in. If he can, he could become a real asset, a player who can make Celtic look more composed and dangerous. At the same time, another angle to consider is how this rumour affects the club's rivals. Celtic's competitors will be paying attention and they will be trying to read the signals. If Celtic are really moving for Bardhi, it suggests they're not content with the status quo. It suggests they want to push harder to raise the bar and demand more from the squad. That kind of move can unsettle other teams, especially if they were hoping Celtic might slow down or fall into a lull. The psychology of football is often overlooked, but it matters. A club that looks like it's strengthening is a club that looks like it's preparing for a challenge, and that can influence how opponents approach matches, how they plan, and how they set up. Even the rumour itself can be a kind of tactical weapon. If other teams start worrying about Bardhi's potential impact, they might change their strategies. That's the power of a single signing, or even just a suggestion of one. But let's not forget the human side of this story. Players are not just assets. They're people with lives, ambitions, and emotions. Bardhi's decision to join Celtic, if it happens, would come with a lot of personal pressure. Moving to a new country, adapting to a new culture, and stepping into a club with huge expectations is never easy. The support system around him will be crucial. Celtic staff will need to help him settle, not just on the pitch, but off it too. The club's environment can make a massive difference in how quickly a player adapts. If he feels welcomed and supported, he'll have a much better chance of thriving. If he feels isolated or under too much pressure, the transition could become difficult. The rumour suggests Celtic are confident in their ability to integrate him, which speaks to the club's reputation for taking care of their players. But there's always an element of uncertainty. Football is full of stories, where the talent was there, but the environment didn't allow the player to shine. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.